Loire, Anjou to be exact, with Anjou Dimon, which I think you can kind of get where they're playing with the name here with the little angel and the demon on it. Ange is actually the name for angel in French, but obviously Anjou kind of sounds like angel. So I love this wine because I think that it is an amazing example of like what Cab Franc can be. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that because we'll dive into it more as we go into it. But a little bit about the producers. So Le Terres Blanches, it's a husband-wife producer, Celine and Benoit Blais, I think is her last name. And they have been producing wine in the Anjou region for, I believe, quite a while. They only have, I think, about 8 hectares. I'm not exactly sure exactly how much it is, but it's not that much. And they do a lot with Cab Franc. So I think this is a really cool example of it, like I said. And let's dive into that. All right, so it is very dark. And I think that that's because they, oh, actually, yeah, I was going to talk about that for a second. So the extraction on it is a little bit unusual. So they macerated it, which means that they left it with the skins for a month. And I guess that's not that unusual, but that's just quite a long time. So it also makes sense why it would be really extracted and really like dark. So there's some things that we could expect from that, and we'll hit on them as we go. All right, so on the top, deep and dark. that's what it feels like. So it feels like black fruits, dark everything, black currants for sure. Yeah, blackberries, plums. And then there's like the smokiness to it. It's a little bit like peppery, minerally, kind of like almost like dusty too. There's a, so like it was basically just a bunch of dark fruit and then a lot of other things going on with it that are earthy and like whatever you would call the earthy, and I'm going to say like cooking, which is wrong, but you know, like spices and herbs and things like that. Super herbaceous, just generally just feels very earthy. Yeah, I'm excited for this. All right, let's try it. Okay, so this is what I get excited about. So everything that we were just discussing is generally still there, but the biggest surprise is that it's still really green. Like it's green on the finish. It's almost like got this like, sometimes if like wines are underripe, they'll be like almost to the point where it's habanero pepper or something. I would not say that it's like that, but it is more on like, you know, maybe like a lighter green pepper towards the end, which I really like to see in my Cab Francs. And it's very cool to see that still a part of this wine while still getting everything else that we were just discussing, like all that complexity, really great tannic structure. It's not a smooth tannin though. It's definitely like a rough and tumble style tannin. And honestly, like it's kind of rustic. This wine feels very like, I'm gonna, and we'll talk about that with pairing as well, but like I'm gonna, I don't know if it's the Loire. I think they rabbits all over France or whatever, but I'm gonna stew up this rabbit and throw the rice in with it and like pull out my rustic wine and drink it with it. That's kind of what this feels like to me. It's delicious. It's just, I think it's a really exciting example of, there's so many Cab Francs that we get where they're definitely not this extracted. And so I like seeing, you know, kind of like where, not the limits, because obviously you could keep going, but where you can push it to and still get that kind of like fresh green notes and like really lively finish. Let's try it again and let's talk about some pairings. That's just delightful. Yeah, the finish is so long and it's just really well made wine. I don't know how else to describe it. I just love it. So yeah, it's dark, but it's also got this green. So I love the idea of, I was kind of joking about the rabbit, but not really. I don't normally I've never cooked rabbit, but if it was on the menu and I had this, I probably would. I would probably more go for like fowl. Like if I I was gonna say duck, but I don't actually know that duck is right for this. I guess it could be depending on how you prepare it. But like turkey, I don't know. I was thinking kind of like birds, but now I'm not thinking of like great recipes for it. So maybe it really is more like maybe it's like, I think I've talked about veal before. I don't eat veal, but maybe could work here. Um, yeah, so we might be actually headed into the pork category, or honestly, like stuff that's stewed or has a lot of flavor to it. So I like to say, Moroccan style food or tagine food. Oh man, lamb. Lamb would be so good here. Lamb in the tagine with some like couscous and like tons of just herbs in there and lots of baking spices. That would be so nice here. So think about that. Enjoy.